Hello and welcome to Across Louisiana. My name is Steve Sawyer and we greatly appreciate you taking a moment to watch the show. We've got a great show for you lined up today. Jenny Hamilton. Jenny is the Executive Director of the New Orleans Ballet Association and just got some information that she's going to share on programs that are coming up that you can be a part of. Monica Sylvain, a dear friend of ours. Monica is the Director of the Posse Foundation. She's got some information on how you can be a member of the Posse Foundation and a little bit about what the Posse Foundation does and how they work with our kids in the area. Mark Cave, a first-time guest. Mark is the Senior Curator and Oral Historian at the New Orleans Collection, a museum that's down on Royal Street. Just a fascinating place, and he's got some information he's going to share about one of the upcoming shows they have that is going to be here in New Orleans about New Orleans history. And then finally, Mr. Dale Cooney. Dale is the president of American Heroes. It's a nonprofit organization. Dale started the organization in December of last year, and they work with veterans who come back after serving this country, and they just come back and have a little difficulty in fitting back in, so to say. And Dale's got some information on how you can be a part of helping him and his nonprofit organization help those who have served our country. Again, Steve Sawyer, thank you so much for being with us today, and we'll be right back to start the show. Stay with us. And welcome back to Across Louisiana again. Thank you so much for being a part of the show today. Our first guest is an old friend of ours, Jenny Hamilton. Jenny is the Executive Director for the New Orleans Ballet Association. Jenny, thank you so much for coming back. We greatly appreciate it.
Sure.
New Orleans Ballet Association, let's talk a little bit about the core programs of the ballet, then we'll get into some of the exciting events you've got coming up.
Sure. The Ballet Association is really a hybrid of sorts in such that we bring in world-renowned dance companies such as the Joffrey Ballet and Albany American Dance Theater and have it on the main stage of the Theater Performing Arts, as well as in collaboration with NOCA at the Lippin Hall there. We also have an education program where we provide about 5,000 tuition-free dance classes a year at locations in Jefferson, Orleans, and St. Bernard parishes. For children 6 to 18, we have some adult classes, and then we have a program for senior citizens, a dance fitness program as well at 5 different NORD centers.
Wow, that's incredible. I didn't know you guys.
Huge.
And your website is nobadance.com.
That is.
And all the information about programs and services that you offer can be found on that website.
Absolutely.
All right. You've got a lot of events coming up, so I'll just let you take it from here to talk about the events you've got coming up.
You know, we provide now almost 90 classes a week in the community, so we're very proud. The education program is primarily run for youth on 3 different semesters, in fall and spring, and then also a summer. So this summer we have a couple of dance camps coming up for children ages 6 to 11. It is completely tuition-free and open to any child.
And can you register via the website, or?
You register in person, and upcoming on April the 10th is a registration for our Adventures in Dance Camp. This is for 3 weeks in July. This is this particular camp is only for Orleans Parish residents. It's held at the Lions Center, and it is clearly that Adventures in Dance, everything from classes in ballet and hip-hop and Haitian dance and everything in between to arts and crafts and nutrition. There is an aftercare component, and also we have twilight evening classes at NORD centers and also St. Jerome Church in Kenner in June, and that is open to any child from anywhere. So those registrations are coming up in May. We have those. Our senior classes are ongoing. You just drop into a NORD center and take a senior class, and that information can be found on our website.
Okay, all right. The Twilight Dance Camps, talk a little bit about that. I mean, what does that involve?
Those are evening classes for children ages 6 to 18, and it's at all the NORD locations as well as St. Jerome Church. And they're classes in ballet. We also have them in modern and tap and hip hop. So it again is open to any child, no experience necessary.
That was my key question about the experience.
Absolutely no experience necessary. We do have pre-professional programs where it is by audition. Those have already been held, and those will also be going on simultaneously. But this is completely open to any child, absolutely no experience necessary.
And that's one of the things I wanted to get to, because a lot of what you do when you think of the New Orleans Ballet Association, you're probably the person at home is thinking, oh, I probably got to be into dance, I got to know a lot, and you really don't. I mean, a lot of these are great ways for not only learn a lot about the ballet, but just to kind of get involved in the association.
We have so many volunteers, amazing volunteers through our Bravo, our Ballet Resource and Volunteer Organization, as well as those who just want to volunteer, whether it's at a kid's performance or helping us stuff envelopes or anything in between. And just if you're interested in getting involved and helping us out in any regard, please let us know, because volunteers are always welcome. Absolutely.
And that's another point I wanted to make, is that I'm sure you can use a lot of volunteers for the not only performances but day-to-day operations. All that information again can be found on the website of how to volunteer.
It absolutely is, and many of our volunteers are help us with the fundraisers. For instance, the upcoming on April the 15th is 2 organizations in town called Men and Women of Fashion.
Okay.
Very prestigious organizations host a luncheon every year where they honor 10 men and 10 women for their very, extraordinary style, as well as their contributions to the community. And all the proceeds, it's a 600-person luncheon. It's phenomenal. They do a great job.
That's super.
And those proceeds come to our education programs and our scholarship programs, where we send talented kids away to other programs throughout the country in the summertime.
Well, Jenny, they're telling me that I'm out of time, but I want to
Okay.
thank you again for coming on the show. Appreciate it. Please come back and share all the exciting news that you have upcoming for the New Orleans Ballet Association. Thank you
Great.
so much for being here.
Thank you.
Stay with us. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Across Louisiana again. We greatly appreciate you being a part of the show today. Monica Sylvain has been on the show before, got a great organization, the Posse Foundation, and Monica is the director for that. Monica, welcome back to the show. Greatly appreciate you taking time to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Hey, let's talk a little bit about, for our first-time guest, a little bit about the core programs of the Posse Foundation and maybe some of your success stories. And then I know you've got a big event coming up on April 15th that we'll get to as well.
Sure, absolutely. So Posse exists to identify, recruit, and select outstanding young leaders from high schools. Once we select those scholars, we send them off to college as a team of 10 to support each other for 4 years. And the core programs are the identification and selection, followed by the pre-collegiate training. So we train them as a team before they go off to college together for 8 months. And then once they get to campus, we have a campus program that's for 4 years. And then as a part of that, we also have a career program. So we're helping scholars to transition from being leaders on campus to being leaders in the workforce.
And any success stories that you had lately that you can share with us?
Yeah, so we have one of our scholars actually that attends Bard College. She's in a French immersion class right now, and so she's going to France for June of this summer, and then she's going to Senegal, West Africa, to do some studying over there. So lots of our scholars are doing really well.
Now, would she go with a group of people, or would she go on her own, or?
Yeah, so in this case, she's going to be going on her own because the scholars have a wide range of interests in terms of what they would like to study in college and what they want to do with their careers. This young person is really interested in law and international law.
What an absolutely incredible opportunity to do that. That's incredible. Hey, I want to mention real quick, because we were talking before the segment came on, your website is www.possefoundation.org. But one of the things we were talking about is that's a national website, and where what's more helpful for you guys is the phone number, and we'll put that on the screen, which is 504-208-5595. And I just want to mention that because if you go to the website, it's a little tough to get to the New Orleans piece of that, and you mentioned that you'd rather have people just call. So again, we'll put that number on the screen. Let's talk about the showcase that's going to be held on April the 15th.
Yes, we're really excited about that. So the National Advisory Board for Posse nationally will be in New Orleans, so that's about 55 people strong, and we're going to have our first ever showcase of Posse New Orleans. So we're going to be focusing on 3 things. One is, why did we come to New Orleans almost 3 years ago? 2, what are the successes that we've had thus far, and how do we fit into the education renaissance? And then lastly, we're going to have our new 20 Posse scholars there. We'll have an open Q&A, and people will be able to meet our newest class of scholars.
Wow. Now, and where will this be held at?
So this will be held at my office at 1515 Poydras, right across the street from the Superdome. We'll also have some remarks by our president and founder, Deborah Beal, and our national board chair, Jeff Ubben.
Wow, that's incredible. And you mentioned you came 3 years ago to New Orleans.
Yes.
And what did bring you here?
So, everybody knows about the charter school movement and just what's happening in terms of education reform in the city. And Posse felt like it was a perfect time for us to come in because we're a college access youth leadership development program. And there are so many outstanding young leaders in the area who, deserve the opportunity to go to a top college.
Monica, that's outstanding. Listen, thank you so much for taking time to be on the show. Please come back, share your successes and other things that you have going on. And again, that phone number is 504-208-5595 for more information. Stay with us. We will be right back. And welcome back to Across Louisiana. Just happy to have Mark Cave. Mark is the senior curator, oral historian at the New Orleans Collection. And Mark, I don't think we've ever had anybody of that prominence on this show before. So greatly appreciate you coming down. I got to ask, senior curator, oral historian, what exactly, what does that entail?
Well, I work at the historic New Orleans Collection.
And you've been there for how long?
Almost 20 years now.
Almost 20 years, wow.
Yeah, and it's a research center, a museum, and a publisher devoted to the history and culture of New Orleans. And what I do is take in donations and look for acquisitions, things to add to our collections, and then also interview people about their lives and document that for our archive.
So where are you located at?
We're at 533 Royal Street.
Okay.
That's our primary museum facility. We also have a complex of buildings at 410 Charters.
So if I came down to the Royal Street location, what would I see when I entered your facility?
Well, we're open Tuesday through Sunday from 9:30 to 4:30.
Okay.
Right now we have an exhibition called Shout Sisters Shout, the Boswell Sisters of New Orleans, and it runs through October of this year. And it's devoted to a musical trio who first came to the city in 1914, 100 years ago. And so they were born and raised on Camp Street in uptown New Orleans, and they became probably the most prominent radio personalities of the early 1930s.
Really? And have you got actual recordings and things like that, or?
Yeah, we have excerpts from their songs and old photographs and, documents from their recitals when they were children. And
wow, that's pretty neat.
It's a really great exhibition.
What's some of the oldest exhibits, I mean, as far as dates go, that you've had there?
Oh, we have collections going back to the colonial period.
Is that there now? You can actually see?
Yeah, we have a permanent history exhibit called our History Galleries, and that just takes you through 300 years of New Orleans history.
I love museums. I mean, this city, as you well know, has got, God, just so much history to it that is just fascinating. And I love the fact, I got to be honest with you, I see a lot of your emails that you send out, and I was excited that you were going to be on the show because I wanted to find out more about the New Orleans Collection. Your website is www.hnoc.org. Information on the museum itself, but as far as upcoming exhibits and things like that, can be found on the website?
We have our permanent exhibit, which I had mentioned, and we have this temporary exhibits, which change every few months. And we have the Shout Sister Shout exhibit, which is at our Royal Street facility. We have an exhibit opening up on April 9th on Louisiana in film. And we have events surrounding the Shout Sister Shout exhibit. On April 10th, we have a lecture featuring the Pfister sisters, who sing a lot of the Boswell sisters' song, along with Kyla Titus, who's the granddaughter of one of the Boswell sisters, and they're going to be talking about the music. And that's on April 10th from 6 to 8:30.
Well, you've just a lot of information. Mark, please come back and share information with us from time to time about the museum. We love to have you on the show because, I mean, that's what this show is all about, is giving information about organizations that make up this wonderful city. So I want to thank you for being on the show for the first time. Please come back and stay with us. We have one more guest. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Across Louisiana. Our final guest today is Dale Cooney. Dale is the president of a brand new organization called American Heroes, a brand new nonprofit organization, Dale. And you founded it way back when?
December of last year.
December of last year.
Yes.
So you're actually less than 6 months old.
That's correct.
And tell a little bit about the mission of American Heroes and kind of like what you do and what your purpose is and so forth.
Well, it's about helping the soldiers who actually go to war and they come back not whole. They have difficulties, them and their families, and we're trying to raise funds to help them, so to speak, jumpstart, get past all that, and providing them with financial aid for whatever they need.
Your website, well, you don't have a website, but the phone number is 504-250-0336, and
Yes.
again, a nonprofit organization, and the way you help is by receiving financial support and things like that, right? I mean, you really need people. As far as donations, financial donations, what about, are you looking for like clothes or anything like that, or do you really not go that route?
No. Basically, what we're trying to do is we're going to have fundraisers and
Okay.
you know, golf tournament in November, but basically what we're trying to do is have help the veteran that really needs the help, whether open their walls, not the walls, but their doorways for
absolutely.
the wheelchairs and things like that. So it's things that they can't afford.
Right. And Dale, what led you to do this? I mean, again, you just started December of last year. So what led you to? What calling was there to do this organization?
It was someone sent me an email with a video of. It opened up as this guy's on a beach and he's tan, he's well built, throwing the football around, and he's there with his fiancee. And the next scene they show you, he's off the war and he's got all his gear on. The next scene they show you an explosion. The next scene they show you him in a hospital bed with no arms and no legs.
Yeah.
And his fiancee carries him around on her back. And they got married, but I start thinking, what is this guy going to do when he gets back?
Right.
And I think that's the trouble with a lot of people when they come back. They don't come back whole. They don't come back like they were. Whether they had a labor job and they can't go back to it, so they have to do something else. And it's difficult for them to get back in there because their mortgage doesn't stop, their other bills don't stop, and that's where we try to come in.
Right.
We're going to try and help them get over that hump.
Well, I cannot applaud you enough for doing what you do, because you always hear stories of our veterans who come back, and it's just they come back. They go fight for this country, and then they come back to difficult circumstances. And I hate to say it, but it's almost like there's nobody there to help and support. So God bless you for doing what you guys are doing. You've got a golf tournament coming up on November 10th. So we'd love to have you come back on the show, talk more about the golf tournament. Have you got a location where the golf tournament will be played yet?
Lakewood.
At Lakewood?
Yes.
Great golf course.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good friends over at Lakewood, so I know they'll be working with you on that. And again, please, 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 as the organization progresses and as you guys grow, please use this show as a tool to get your information out and share things with the community. Again, I applaud what you're doing, and you are a nonprofit. 504-250-0336 if you can find it in your heart to help our veterans with some donations, or you just want to call Dale and say, how can I help? How big is your board now? Just you, the president?
Well, no, we have 5 people on the board, but we're looking for new members. They can be a member. They don't have to show up for meetings. They can just, fill out the applications, $35 a year, and if they want to come to meetings, that's great.
Yeah, that's great. Well, you can't do enough for our veterans, and again, I applaud you for what you're doing. You've been watching Across Louisiana, and we greatly appreciate you taking time to watch the show, and we'll see you next time.